Question one to Peter Julian about, if you talk to anybody on the Enbridge Northern Gateway project, they say the real purpose of the line is to increase the markets, so increase the sales ability. It's like instead of selling to pad 3, you can sell to pad 4. So by putting the pipeline in, you get pad 3 prices. So it's really just pricing. So the question really is, isn't that something that government can do by way of legislation, government action or something? Next question is for Mike. In your report, in your report,
we have to stick by the rules, Jim.
In your report, this is just one question, it's got 3 prongs. In your report, you talk about using nuclear to address greenhouse gases. Now, in Fukushima right now, they're looking at the whole thing collapsing. And in fact, what likely will happen is Tokyo will have to be evacuated, and people on the BC coast won't be able to live there anymore because of the radiation in the seawater. And in fact, right now they just eliminated the measurements, or eliminated the limits and stopped measuring. So here you have, you know, the kind of the fallout from using nuclear. But I think in your report you recommend nuclear. I'm just interested in your view. And the question for you, you don't want to be left out. One of the proposals is instead of running natural gas through Fort McMurray and turning it into diesel, you just run it straight into the city and start running your diesel fleet on natural gas. Now that kind of forecloses the refining process, but it has environmental positive consequences. Hello? It's not working. Anyway, I'm just wondering, like from a union point of view, what's your attitude to that? Because, you know, obviously you have an vested interest in the refining process.
Okay, Jim, I'm sorry about the mic. I think it quit on you in midstream. Battery must have died.
I think everybody heard the question.
Everybody must have heard most of the question, I hope. Anyhow, you can repeat it if you want, Peter.
Well, I think everybody heard the first issue, question of pricing. Robin Allen, who's an economist who has done extensive analysis of the oil and gas industry, actually points out that if Northern Gateway was built, it would increase costs to consumers here in Canada. So if we're talking about a national energy strategy, we actually need something that provides an advantage to Canadian consumers, provides for more jobs here in Canada, and a project like Northern Gateway doesn't do either. What it does is export jobs, certainly. It exports raw bitumen while we continue to import into Eastern Canada, and it would result in higher prices for consumers.
Fukushima frightens me. Just like we've seen all that debris that's crossed the Pacific and is ending up on the shores of British Columbia and Oregon. The radiation from that is being carried in the ocean. All that contaminated water is ending up in the ocean. And it's already coming across. And, when things go wrong with nuclear, it's frightening. But what I see is in situ production in Alberta increasing from about 40% of volumes now, eventually up to about 80%, because only a small portion of the oil sands can be mined from surface strip mines. And with the lack of enthusiasm for building upgraders, the in situ process right now, we're burning clean natural gas to produce the heat, to create produce a bitumen that a lot of people don't like very much and think is environmentally unfriendly. I don't like burning clean natural gas to do that. I'd like to find a way to produce the bitumen, but not burn natural gas. And nuclear is one option. You can build small nuclear plants. They exist right now in aircraft carriers, in submarines, and a lot of ships. And yeah, there's accidents once in a while, and you know, and again, you're never going to have it perfect. Accidents will happen. It's a question of doing the job right and regulating it properly and having people who are trained properly to do it and engineering it all properly to reduce the risk. They got caught out at Fukushima. They had a lot of their equipment at such a low level that when the waters came in, that it was flooded out and the plant went out of control, and then there was a lot of explosions and a lot of mechanical problems, and the whole thing just went to hell in a handbasket. I think we have to find a way to stop using clean natural gas to produce bitumen. We have to find another source of energy. And nuclear is one way to do it. Thank you. So.
I represent workers, so whether they be natural gas or in producing diesel, I'll represent those workers. If it's part of a transition plan, I have no problem. So it's about transitioning. Whenever society makes a decision, it has to take into account the effects on working people. And that's what transition is about. When we transition a workforce into something new, we plan it, we make it happen, and it's good for everybody.